What's up everybody, back at it again with another Magnum Quest video, and in this one I'm going to be covering, is Magnum Quest free-to-play friendly? This is a question I see asked all the time in whatever mobile game I've played or will play in the future, and I'll be answering this while comparing the differences for pay-to-play, pay-to-win, spenders, giraffes. You get the idea, let's get it. So the answer to the question, is Magnum Quest free-to-play friendly? And that answer is yes and no. Okay, well that's the video. Stay tuned for the next one. And we're back, so I can go into a little bit more detail why, because every game has its pros and cons. Timestamps available in the video description if you want to jump ahead to certain topics. I'll probably miss some things here and there, so if there's any reasoning you think may be helpful, feel free to leave a comment down below, so players, whether new, just starting out after a couple of weeks, or whatever it may be, can see and it will be of help. You're trying to find a balance between what the free can do / achieve, and what the pay can do and / achieve. But I mean, technically there's no limit. I'm sure there might be roadblocks here and there, but there is no limit if you're spending. It's just how much you're willing to spend. This info should be also helpful to any new players thinking of picking up this game at this very moment, because things might change in a week from now, a month from now, who knows. So if you don't like what you're hearing and realize this game isn't for you, I'm going to save you that time. I'm going to divide this up into 3 categories and then give my thoughts for each if it's free to play friendly or not. So category number 1 is going to be content. This is going to include chapter, adventure, dungeon, trial, arena, bosses, events. Category number 2 is going to be summons. So this is going to include regular, faction, dragon, basically your ability to obtain heroes. And then category 3 is going to be resources, which includes barrel, gold, XP, runes, and star map. So we're going to kick things off with content. Chapter adventure. I've played many idle gacha games since I started playing mobile games. In fact, I think more than 80% of the games I've played are idle, meaning there's no stamina or energy in the game. So instead of using that to continue playing to gain resources, you play as much as you want, but gain resources when you close the game, basically go offline. Patience is a big factor in these games, unless you're spending. This game is in this regard very free-to-play friendly up to a certain point, and that point is currently late game, which I consider now to be 27 plus, and to be fair, it should be. With time investment, meaning many months, 5 plus, 8 plus, 12 months down the road, if you've played other games as a free-to-play, you should know it takes a crap load of time to reach that state of the game, and for some, it's still not even possible, due to how resource availability in this game, which I'm going to get to later. You'll deal with not meeting minimum combat power requirements, not having the meta heroes at an acceptable ascension level, like example Sir or Kados, which are among the rare faction heroes, and one of the big issues, star map investment and runes. So chapter adventure is pretty straightforward, and as long as you do the research, meaning utilizing good early, mid, and if you do somehow make it to the late game as a free-to-play, the setups or what heroes to be investing into, like ascending, leveling. I have many videos about these. If you browse through my channel, you can go very far very quickly until you encounter resource issues, which I'll touch on in category number 3. Now we're going to move over to the dungeons. So dungeons are a bit different because you have your regular plus your faction. Faction, you're going to need to form a setup with 5 heroes, so as a free-to-play, it's going to be harder based off your summon luck and lack of hero fodder, which means heroes used to feed into another for ascensions. Typically, this is where I struggled on my accounts, but you can still go relatively far at a consistent pace. As a free-to-play, just remember you're in it for the long run, meaning it's all about time investment. So only focusing on 1 or 2, usually these are going to be DPS carry heroes, such as Winden for Fortress, 5 for Forest, Durla for Shadow, and then Ares for Wild. Making sure they're the right heroes can help you reach those dungeon levels that benefit you more quicker, such as giving you dragon scales for dragon summons. This is a very expensive summon system, and as a free-to-play, you're most likely, at least I suggest, to avoid this until you get these dragon scales. Overall, it'll be one of your main resources in terms of barrel, gold, dragon shards, XP, dragon scales. It's going to have a lot of good stuff. Moving over to the trial, this is really the same for free-to-play and spenders, as it's based off your squad level or squad levels. Probably combat power as well, from my understanding, with how they incorporated their algorithm. And due to the resources, both parties don't want to be missing out on this. Make sure you complete this every 2 days, otherwise you're going to be hurting your progression severely. When you complete the trial on normal mode, the final chest you can get anywhere between 200 and 700 dragon shards, while also gaining gold and XP from the start to finish. On hard mode, the final chest, you can get anywhere between 400 and 1000 dragon shards. This is going to be a main resource of your XP golden barrel and those dragon shards to fund your account. Moving down to arena or the PvP in this game, so this is going to be the biggest difference like in all games. This is the clear divider as a free-to-play. You're just never going to be in the same power bracket as a spender. Even if you're a light spender, it's not going to happen. The only way is with time investment and hope whoever is ahead of you quits the game, maybe stops spending, forgets to log in here and there, and then you slowly creep up. Having said that though, the actual arena rewards aren't really that good. Free to play versus spenders, it's not an issue here. And I know this doesn't sit well with a lot of competitive players, which I can totally understand by the way. However, if we do go over to the floating city ladder, this is where free to play will struggle for two reasons. Number one, you're going to need to fill up 3 defenses, which will definitely be hard to do. You only need to successfully defend 2 out of the 3, so you can focus on that. It's the same when attacking. You only need to win 2 out of the 3, so it's a good idea to build up and work on at least 2 setups. Number 2, the rewards for this game mode actually do matter. The higher you rank, the better idle currency you get per hour. This currency seen right here is where you, as a free-to-play, need to focus, because if we go over to the ladder shop, this is where you're going to use that currency for Kados or Sir. This is how you're basically going to be building up these heroes. They are the rare faction heroes like I mentioned earlier, and you cannot faction summon for them. You can target summon them with dragon summons like I mentioned, but it's expensive and it's really not recommended for free to play, at least until way down the road with your account. Sir, I suggest doing first. As you can tell, it's 375k for 1 copy. So you want to get that floating city arena ranking as high as you can to hopefully, if you can, 520 an hour, but just try to get to as close as that as you can so you can hopefully get 1 copy a month. Now, of course, this won't be easy as you will be versing spenders, but just do your 3 attacks every day, slowly building up your rank. Now, recently they added in a new PvP feature called Battlefield of the Gods, and well, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a free-to-play, don't even worry about this. In fact, just forget this even exists. It's most likely, or rather I say it's very likely, that it's not in your future ever. Even if you do make it into the top 10 in Floating City on your server and qualify, you won't make it out of the team stage, as the other players in your bracket you get put into are going to spank you. It's just how it is. If you want to be competitive in PvP, really in any mobile game, you need to spend. If you don't care, then at least try to raise your idle currency per hour for Sir or Kados. And then next up is for the bosses. Now there's 2 sets of bosses in this game that I'm going to cover. You have your Awakened Demon boss and your guild bosses. Awakened Demon bosses, at least for the first 3, are relatively straightforward. Simply check back in here from time to time as you do your upgrades, whether that's levels, ascension, gear, new heroes, etc., and work your way up the levels. The highest is level 10, just don't expect to get this right away, plus it's locked behind content progression, meaning the chapter adventure. Ash is a bit more tricky because in order to unlock the quick battle, you're going to see it has these requirements: win with less than 3 intel heroes, and then win with less than 3 strength and agility. So you can either win with 4 heroes, or you win the battle once, checking off the first challenge requirement, which will be regarding using less than 3 intel, and then you're going to change up your heroes, do it again, and then win with less than 3 strength and agility. You'll eventually get these to level 10. It doesn't take relatively long. I'd say maybe like 1 to 2 months. I don't know the exact time frame, but I think it's around 1 to 2 months. Once again, this depends on your summon luck. Most likely you'll need to reset your heroes to make specific ones stronger, such as with Arthur, to improve his survivability, to give him the time to get his shields off and his heals. And also if you play every day, to do your trial, dailies, weeklies, etc. Moving over to the guild bosses, you're going to have your Frostpeak, your Puppet bosses, and your Puppet War. For all bosses, I'd suggest the 2x support and 3x DPS meta. One support being Harry, then the other you can do like Cinia or Amelia, most go with Cinia. And then the 1 DPS was going to be Sir, as she can do everything. She's a busted hero. She can tank, support, DPS, and then the other 2 is your choice. Puppet bosses, it's the same idea, 2x support, 3x DPS. However, pay attention to these faction advantage damage buffs since they give you 75%. 75% is massive, and it's the best way to utilize this fight to gain the necessary hatred to get the challenges done for each boss seen here. There's lots of goodies here to aim for. Puppet War, once again, similar setup, but the bosses have unique auras to pay attention to, and this is also an event that comes and goes, unlike Frostpeak and the Puppet bosses. The Puppet bosses, you do need to open this feature, but with an active guild, it shouldn't be an issue. Basically, the main difference here is for free-to-play, you're going to be doing a lot less damage than a spender. It's pretty simple as that. Spender will reach the goals faster, whether that's max hatred on the guild boss or max hatreds from the puppet bosses. And then finally, events. Events in this game have been pretty generous in terms of difficulty for completing and rewards. Some games I've played, it's just not possible depending on your account power, but all the events here are doable. However, that's not to say there isn't a difference between free-to-play and spenders. Some events, such as the event currency exchange ones, like the butterfly event or the dice event, or the Halloween candies, are just examples of this, meaning you can get quite a bit of free resources. However, you will significantly benefit from buying extra event currency with money so you can exchange for more rewards. So for this category, content out of 5 as a free-to-play, keep in mind, like I said, if you are free-to-play, you're here for the long run, time investment will basically be your money. And as a free-to-play, I'm not really thinking, am I ever going to beat this game? They're always going to be introducing new heroes. They're most likely going to be introducing new chapters. It's just not possible. You play the game if you enjoy it. In that regard, I would give this game a 4 out of 5, treating it like what it is. It's an idle gacha game. Definitely one of the better ones from my experience. Moving on to category number 2, and that's going to be summons. When you first start out in the game, you have the Great Collector event, which gives you summons based off milestones from obtaining gold heroes. And when you start out, you're going to gain a lot of dragon shards, so you're going to be doing a lot of summoning, and then collecting more tickets or coupons from this event to then do more summoning. So I'll say it again, you're going to be doing a lot of summoning. You're going to get a lot of chances to do so. I've went through this event 3 times so far, and on average, as a free-to-play, I have got to the 180 mark. There's players who've reached 200. One account I got to 195, and probably could have got to 200, meaning complete the event, if I spent more time grinding it out or pushing on stages where I needed to retry a couple times or a countless amount of times to get that right RNG to win. So whether free-to-play or a spender, 100% take advantage of this event, meaning grind it out, because the rewards are there. It's honestly one of the best features in an idle gacha game has had to offer that I've experienced. Now this game also has a magic list, so be sure to set this up with top heroes. However, gold dice, gold faction cards, and friendship summons do not factor in this list. So normal summons for a 10 times pull, it's 1350. Honestly, this is really good compared to other gacha games I've played. There is a pity system of 30, meaning guaranteed gold hero if you don't get one before that. Now, faction summons are harder to come by. You're going to be getting the bulk of these from completing chapters in the chapter adventure. This means you're going to need to be more careful with what you pick. Figure out the direction you want to take your account. There is a pity system of 30, but this is a separate counter for each faction. Dragon summons, on the other hand, very expensive, like I said. It's not free-to-play friendly. Honestly, it's not even really spender friendly. The rates are very, very low. Maybe way down the road you can come back to this, but like I said, in category 1, you're probably going to be getting the bulk of your summons from this, which are going to be dragon scales, and that's going to be from the faction dungeon. This also does have a pity system of 60. So for this category, summons, out of 5 as a free-to-play, I would give this game a 3.5 out of 5. It does have a pity system. It does have a magic list, so you can choose what gold heroes from the entire hero pool that you want to get when you summon. A times 10 pull for regular is 1350. However, what's holding this back is the lack of opportunity for faction summons. Since you can't buy the faction coupons, tickets from the store, get from the trial merchant, you're forced to wait for events that may give this as a reward. Gift codes, although I don't recall any ever including these, I could be wrong. And since you can't use dragon shards to summon here, there's just no way to get them consistently besides beating chapters, but eventually you're going to hit a progression wall. If you're a spender, you can actually choose to add them in your 1000% customized deal that pops up from time to time, for example. And then of course, dragon summons being super expensive with low rates. Dragon summons, at least you can save up and use your dragon shards there, unlike faction summons, or you can also get those dragon scales I mentioned. And then finally, the last category being number 3, which is going to be resources. This is where this game is going to drastically change in rating compared to the other 2 categories. You're going to go through a lot of problems here, an up and down relationship with the core resources, meaning gold, barrel, and XP. All players will deal with gold issues, free to play or spenders, depending on what state of the game you're in. It may be better, it may be worse. There's just not enough ways to get this at this very moment in the game, and everything costs a lot. Star map materials for gold in the store in particular are expensive, especially the better quality, bronze being the cheapest tokens, then silver, then gold. Enhancing gear, specifically 5-star pieces, I think it's 10 to 15 mil to go from +1 to +5. And then once you get a universal squad level of 300, leveling up further starts to ramp up in cost very quickly. I'd suggest pre-squad 300, meaning you still have 5 heroes seen here, whatever levels they may be, to buy that barrel every single day from the shop at a 75% discount, refresh it for dragon shards, and then buy it once more. It gets very expensive barrel wise the more you ramp up in levels, trying to get those heroes from 250 to 275 or 275 to 300. So because of this, your XP is going to actually stack up since you can't do anything with it. Your main goal here is to get a squad of 300. So that covers gold, and now we're going to go over to barrel. Barrel is actually quite simple. You need it, buy it in the shop like I mentioned with gold every day. Refresh it if you can for another chance. This is the big difference between free-to-play and spenders because they are going to buy this order right here. The trial order, which gives a crap ton of barrel. At level 1 of this order, as a free-to-play, you get, I believe it's a base of around 9,300 barrel. The reason I say base is because the amount of barrel you get in these bags varies, depending on your account progression. So you will be getting more than the base of what I just said. I just don't know what it is because it's going to be different for everyone. If you were to buy this order, however, you would get a total base of 71,300 barrel. Just remember, it will be more as I'm not including the barrel chests. And then as you complete the order, you keep playing, you level it up at level 5, which is the max. As a free-to-play, you can get a base of, I believe, 19,700. So compare that to the level 1 of 9,300, it's a 10k increase simply by playing the game. While buying this order totals a base of 150,800, it's an insane increase from that 71,300. And it's also the same cost as a level 1. So yeah, there's just a lot of barrel here that speeds up your account tremendously. Next up is going to be XP. XP isn't so much a factor, at least you don't notice it nearly as much till having a universal squad of 300 plus. I'm going to say this a lot, but the game does change when you do get that 300. The reason is, like I mentioned when talking about barrel, is you're going to be waiting on barrel, meaning you can't do anything, you can't level up your heroes, it's just going to stack up. This is where all that stored XP you've been saving while waiting on that barrel gets used up quite quickly, and then you're going to enter the waiting game. Feeling the true meaning of idle. If you're not spending and picking up those 1000% deals that pop up while choosing the XP chests, because of the power walls in this game in chapter, adventure, or dungeon, those being the consistent area where you're going to gain XP, besides the trial of course, but this only opens up every 2 days, it's not every day. You're going to start to notice gaining only 1 level per week, maybe 1 level every 10 days. It drops by a lot. You're going to really need to do your trial, whether normal or hard mode, every single time it opens, and don't miss it. Now we move on to the last 2 resources I want to cover, and this is where free-to-play are going to struggle the most, and it's very unfortunate, but this is just how the game design is at this very moment. I've seen this a lot in previous gacha games I've played where specific stuff is just near impossible unless you spend. Runes and star map materials. So for runes, once you finish Awakened Demon Ash level 10, many will start using all their quick battles. You get 6 per day. This needs to be increased, I feel, or have the drop rates increased by a lot, because you can do this for 4 days straight and have no gold rune drop. A positive is these time crystals used for the quick battles generate for free over time, which is why I feel the 6 chances should be more. You can't buy more quick battle chances, but even if you could, I would definitely not recommend this. It's just wasting your dragon shards with how the drop rate is currently. You can hopefully pray to see the gold runes in the shop for 1 million gold, I believe it is. Although gold is scarce, runes are very much needed and add a crap ton of stats of power to your heroes, helping in progression. It can also show up in the trial merchant, but I haven't seen this ever. But it does exist, it's out there, I just never seen it. But yeah, runes for a free-to-play is a huge struggle, and most likely you're going to be using silver runes for a very, very long time until they bring in better ways to obtain these, because enhancing gold drastically increases and the stat pool is rather large, so the chances to even roll stats you want is very slim. I don't want to sound discouraging, but silver runes will most likely be all you can get, depending on your luck or how long you've been playing, since you can get the enhancement materials much easier to try on different runes. Moving over to the star map materials. Okay, ouch. Okay, that's all I can say is ouch. However, recently there has been a lot of events that allow you to pick these as an event currency for exchange, such as the butterfly wings event that I mentioned, or the Halloween candies. Obviously this one's a holiday, so it's not going to be out all the time. But there is events to capitalize on. I would highly suggest for everyone, anytime you can exchange for star map materials to do so, focus on the bronze since they cost the least amount of event currency, and you can get quite a lot of them from start to finish of the event. Silver is okay, but gold you get so little for how much it costs, it's mostly for spenders. Buying them up in the shop, like I mentioned with gold, is your only consistent way of targeting what you want, because even with the hunter reward order, it's still decent for a free-to-play, seen here. The chests you get like bronze, silver, or gold, it's all random. Spenders get a significant advantage with this order, just like with the trial order, because not only do you get top of the line freebies, you're also going to get the bottom line as well. It's just super unfortunate, the gold issues, because once they figure this out with a nice balance so you don't have to pick and choose carefully, the store will be a solid way for free-to-play to progress in this game for their heroes star maps, which like runes add a huge power boost. Runes in Star Map are 100% needed for late game 27+, so that's why I said late game. It just isn't in a free-to-play player's future unless you've got the time investment of many months. Comment down below if you're a free-to-play and you're in chapter 27+. It would be actually really helpful for other players to know. So for this category, resources, out of 5 as a free-to-play, I'm going to give this game a 2 out of 5. It's pretty harsh here, but there's just so much room to better the player's experience, which I hope they implement. So as a free-to-play player, if you're treating this game like an idle, meaning progress a little, then you log off, you come back on reset to do dailies, see what you can do. If nothing, you just log off. If you're okay with this and you can stay interested in the game, I would assume this rating out of 5 might be higher. But I feel you should still be able to progress without having to wait 2 months plus or whatever it may be just to pass one stage, only to hit the not meeting minimum combat power requirement issue, due to not having good enough runes, levels, or star mapped heroes. So to sum up the categories as a free-to-play, I went with 4 out of 5 for content, a 3.5 out of 5 for summons, and then a 2 out of 5 for resources, giving the game an average rating of basically 3 out of 5. Comment down below your thoughts, what you think of this game at the current state it's in. Keep in mind, like I said, things can change 1 week from now, 1 month, etc. But as of right now, is Magnum Quest free-to-play friendly, and what would you rate it out of 5? As always, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for future videos, and stay tuned for the next one.